Okay, good morning. Let's get right into the stock market technical analysis. As I go along, if you guys find value, drop me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. It helps the channel. And I'll continue to try to put out videos that help us find trade ideas that are going to make us money, okay? No promises. There's no guarantees on this channel. Everything is just my interpretation of the charts, and it's not financial advice. All right, going into, I want to start out with Apple today just because... Apple is the major player in the stock market in terms of market cap weighting. It's the largest company in the market. And so when it moves the market. And I want to just point out kind of what we're seeing here. On the daily chart here, we've got some resistance in Apple, and it's really right here at about 176. You can see here we had former resistance there, tagged it again right there, hit it again there. And that's kind of the area that we're playing around with right now. Today, you can see they popped it above this resistance level, but I suspect it's going to fade into the day and actually close down around this 176 area. Okay, just a hunch, and the way the chart looks as of today, looks like it's going to fade. So I think the pop we're seeing this morning is just kind of a one-day pop, and then we're probably gonna fade the rest of the week, or maybe not the rest of the week, but I think we're gonna fade these moves, this move here, and we're actually going to sell off and have some lower prices throughout the week. Okay, looking at the 1 hour chart here on Apple, look, we've got negative divergence. It really started to build back through here. So here's what I want to point out. The rally that just started a couple weeks ago, had a nice impulsive rally, clean up trend line here in Apple. We then broke trend right here, but Apple didn't really go down. It just kind of drifted sideways. But as we started to drift sideways, and then especially as we started to kind of rally higher, we did a back test and we put in this negative divergence. So the momentum indicators on both RSI and the PPO have negative momentum or negative divergence, meaning price is continuing to drift higher while momentum is dropping off. It tells me that there's fewer and fewer buyers that are participating in this, and it's about to reverse trend. So today, what are we saying? Well, we see it pop up. We didn't make a new high, so maybe today, it's a little mixed. We could rally and make a slightly new higher high and put in another divergent high. Completely possible. But looking at the daily, it looks like we're going to fail back below this 176 area. So, in the very, very short term, I could go either way. We could, rally in today and then maybe tomorrow gap down or something. It's micro calls, and when you try to narrow it down to the very day and hour on a call, your accuracy is going to be a lot less. So just want to point that out. But we've got the negative divergence building, and I think we're likely going to drift lower. Back to the daily chart. So if we break and actually close, and I do think we're coming down to 169 on Apple. All right, former support, or where it turned around last week on Friday, was about this 172. So you obviously have to take that out, but we don't hit decent support until we get down to about 169 in Apple. And that trend line, it's not as well defined of a trend line as it used to be. But you can see here, we made all these reactions. We got 3, there's another one, 4, and then we started to chop through it. So it's definitely been violated recently. So I can't say it's the best support line, but maybe we at least get a reaction there. All right, that's Apple. Looking at triple Qs, here's the hourly. Nothing technically has changed, okay? Stocks don't go straight down. And when I was talking about more downside to come last week with my thumbnails, it's essentially what I'm talking about in the future. I don't mean it's going to be downside today or downside right now in the very next hour, jump on board. That's not how my analysis works. My analysis oftentimes will foresee a move that's going to take place in the near future, but and we try to jump on the actual moment where we're getting the signals, the sell signals, but it doesn't mean we're going to go straight down, all right? So if you look at triple Qs in the hourly, we started to short triple Qs last week, and let's go back to the daily. As we popped above the 200-day moving average right here, all right, March 29th, that was the short. If you took that short, you're still profitable. Not underwater, you're actually still profitable. Not by a whole lot, but we're profitable. And so far, the entry has been a good entry. We sold down, and now today they're just rallying it into the 200. But look, still below the 200-day moving average. So again, that pop above the 200 has proven to be the near-term top, at least as of right now. So looking at the hourly chart here, you'll see that basically as we started to rally above the 200 right in here, we put in that negative divergence that we often look for on this channel. So there it is right there. This was a divergent high. We then broke trend and we sold down initially, a little counter trend bounce, and I think this is going to fade. All right. Okay, so technically nothing's changed. I'm still looking for more downside, whether it happens today, tomorrow, even this week. You know, it's really hard to call. It's not an exact timing indicator. We took the sell signal when we broke trend, and you know, we broke above that 200-day moving average with divergence. So all the setup is there for more downside, but stocks don't move straight down, all right? So you'll move in waves, all right? And so that's how it's going to work. Moving on. Oh, and then just real quick, you know, if we start popping above the 200-day moving average, simple moving average right here at about 369 and start closing maybe more than just one day, maybe we get 2 days, close above that, then we'll probably want to stop out of the short trade and just exit, all right? So that would be, you know, that'd probably be my cue that, okay, this doesn't, you know, this has recovered and we're likely going to go on to take out the all-time highs. But if I don't see that, then this should be the area that we get rejected at. Okay? IWM small caps, again, one of my favorites right now just because the chart's so clean. Resistance right there at 209. We had a brief pop above it last week right there, and very next day sold back down and we're still below it. So as far as I can tell, we're selling down, flagging out a little, and we're going to just continue lower. All right, that 209 area was big support for over a year, and now that it's broke down, it should be big resistance. So we want to short at resistance, major resistance. I like this for more downside. Gold, no change. We've been just stuck in the mud in gold for, several weeks now. So gold's just drifting sideways. Again, right in the middle of support and resistance. We got support down here at 1835, 1834. Big resistance up here at 2075. And we're right in the middle. So nothing to do there. I'm still long these gold miners. GDX, gold miners, a little bit of a breakout. Let's look here on the hourly. And so I marked out a potential kind of this trend line right here. We did break out to the upside, but now it's failed. So I don't know, maybe a little false breakout. It's something to take note of because, again, I've talked about the miners and how they might want to come in for a full back test of the major breakout point. Which as you roll out here, you'll see this is your big downtrend right there. We broke out, but we could come in for a full back test, all right? And that's quite a bit of downside. Not really looking to ride a lot of that downside down, but I would be a buyer down there for sure. That's the buy zone down there if you get an opportunity. So things to look for on that one. On the daily on GDX, I've adjusted my line, but here's your uptrend line, and we're just holding above that. So technically no change today from yesterday. There's just nothing that looks that significant. So moving on. TSM, this is a semiconductor. Again, I like the semiconductors short. I like to short the semiconductors at these levels. They look like a good short to me, in my opinion. TSM, you can see here, no real change today. Kind of an inside day, basically. So we're just trading within the range of Friday's range. Inside day, no change. And when I look at the price action on, like the 5 minute, and this is a very common pattern of a bear market. Now, I can't say we don't have enough proof to say that this is the pattern, but a very common pattern of a bear market is to rally in the morning and then sell off throughout the rest of the day and ultimately end lower. So look for that. I don't know if that's how this is going to play out, but so far we rallied in the morning. We're starting to fade. If the selling continues, it's just a very common pattern that you'll see in a bear market. And often in a bull market, you'll sell off in the morning and rally throughout the day. So things to look for on that. But on TSM, you go back to the daily chart, big resistance right here at 108. All right, look at all the support tags there. And we broke, and it's resistance, all right? So that's big resistance. Nothing's technically changed. Whether we have little bounces along the way, the trend, I believe, is lower. So I'm looking to swing trade it. This is not day trading. I'm not trying to, go long today on this and short it at the end of the day. No, I'm looking to get into this position at major resistance and write it down to the next major level of support. And I don't see support on this. Minor support down here, 95.75 down to about 93.77. I would expect we're probably going to fill this gap, so I'm just going to get rid of this one. I think they'll probably fill this gap. It's about 93.77, 94, right in there. And maybe you get a bounce there. And then you don't have big support till about 76.67. Yeah, so those are levels I'm watching. I like it for more downside. Palo Alto, PANW. Again, today, just really no change. We're just up here testing resistance. All right, so it's about a week up here that we've spent battling with resistance, but technically nothing's happened. We're just rallied into resistance. We shorted it at resistance, and we're just drifting sideways. I'm looking for more downside here in the future. Whether we want to test this some more, I don't know, but looks good for more downside. Looking at the hourly, again, negative divergence on the hourly chart. As we continue to pop into this resistance line, each little pop is just a new divergent high, making a new higher high in price while the momentum continues to drift lower. So at some moment in time, this should break down and head lower. Although there's no guarantees, right? We just put the probabilities in our favor and then manage risk. Moving on, KHC, this continues to look like a long trade. So on the daily chart here, you can see we've got a big gap to fill from way back in 2019, and the gap fill is at 47.88, all right? And you can see we're basically working our way higher. It's not my favorite, but because it's been really choppy and pretty whippy, but I do think at a minimum it's going to go fill that gap. So I'm still long this trade, although not super heavy, and I've got a kind of a tight leash on it. But I'm looking for more upside in KHC to run up and fill this gap, and that will be the end of that trade. So, okay, guys, if you're interested in learning about this and learning this skill set, check out my technical analysis course. It's about 4 to 5 hours of video training going through various concepts from divergence analysis, candlestick analysis, risk-reward ratio analysis, trend analysis, all kinds of stuff there. So check that out, link in the description below. I priced it at 99 bucks. It's not free, my time isn't free, so I did want to put that at least a price on there, but it's well worth the money in my opinion. And several of my subscribers that have taken the course have also reiterated that as well. So check that out if you're interested, and I will catch you guys on the next video.